I'm Justin McCartney, and he is looking straight at the screen because we're on a different camera tonight. We're now on that camera, right there straight in front of you, the one with the blue lights.
And Marty is pissing about trying to do something that he should have done a wee bit earlier on, but he didn't.
But we're live.
We are live.
We are live. We are here. We are in Scotland. And if you are watching tonight, do make sure that you say hello to us, because next week we're in Scotland still, but we're not in Scotland because we haven't had time to edit anything, because I have had, let's say, more than the number of units in one day than anybody should have in a week.
All I would say is, I've been with Justin all weekend as we've toured about round, and you haven't seen anything until you've seen Justin McCartney in his Versace Y-fronts. It is a sight to behold. No man should be exposed. No human being should be exposed to Justin in Versace Y-fronts.
No, very good, very good.
We're in Glasgow tonight. So we're in Glasgow. This is St Mungo's. So now, for anyone who doesn't know, St Mungo is the patron saint of Glasgow. Beautiful mural too. I'm just up there. But here's the St Mungo. Nice wee beer. Got you one there, by the way. Here, chin chin.
Oh, lovely.
Chin chin.
Wasn't Mungo one of the bad guys in one of the Western movies or something like that? I think
it's Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Mungo.
You're not allowed to talk about it. And then basically Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles is one of those films. The Oak Police will be very, very, very cross if you.
I know.
We're going to be talking about some of that stuff later on. I'm going to explain some stuff that's been going on in the whiskey world, and some of it I agree with, some of it I'm a bit. Anyway, it is what it is. That's what it is.
Well, we haven't got the news jingle this week.
Surprise, surprise, because Sony.
No.
Wait, what are you on about? Sony?
No, this is a different computer. And that's a different computer. It's only on that computer, you see.
Right, with you now.
So yeah.
But just in case Sony decide to sue us because Zuckerberg's us, and they're not allowed to play music that's actually free. Anyway, that's what it is.
It is. Listen, we better say hello to some people tonight. Julie's watching tonight. Julie, just gotta say, yeah, lovely. I am very much enjoying the holiday with Marty. Yeah. It is. I am enjoying it. Hello to you.
Me not so much. me not just so much.
But and John Fleming watching tonight. Two together. This is the first time we've actually been together.
Yeah.
Since the Alloa Whisky Festival, which
the only other one that we did together was. Do you remember we done the one with Rob doing the food for You Stole My Dulce? And I was going to stab you in
the hand. But it was recorded. It wasn't live.
No, but we were together in that. Yeah. I was going to stab you in the hand. Do you remember your wee fingers?
Yeah, because I was eating it when you were talking. That was a good one. Thomas Jones is saying hello. Hello to you. Remember, hit us up if you're watching tonight. If you're watching on YouTube tonight, because we're in a hotel, it's blocking YouTube. So YouTube is being delivered by a different method tonight. So I can't actually read your messages on YouTube tonight. But I can if I look at my phone and I'll read them out. But I can't show them on screen. Technical difficulties. Hotels always block things like this. There's Julie saying, glad you're enjoying it. Yeah. Glad you're enjoying it. I should have sat in that seat because it would have hid my belly more. But I have to sit in this seat because of the way we've wired it up now. So there you go. And Christopher Watts saying good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So we've been on our adventures. It was a good day yesterday. It was a good day.
It was a good day.
Now, I'll not tell you too much about it because we're going to do like a special next week, I assume.
Should be next week, yeah.
So as most of you guys will know, I've been in Scotland a lot working. We got a little gap in my diary, like 3 nights, and then Justin was at a bit of a loose end.
Yeah.
So we arranged and we set ourselves off, and we went to Campbelltown, down at the very bottom of the entire peninsula. Now, considering that I live in Glenarm, you could almost skim a stone across and hit Campbelltown or hit the Mull of Kintyre from my house. No, that's not how you have to get there. You have to go over to Glasgow, then get the bus up all the way down round and stuff. which takes about 4.5 hours. But it was a glorious day. Like, it was absolutely stunning.
It was lovely.
It was beautiful. Of course, whenever we got there, the weather changed. But we done 3 distillery tours yesterday. We were well oiled, like, by the end of it. Like,
We were slightly rightly, well, let's just say they were pretty bloody fantastic.
Yeah,
they were.
We have souvenir bottlings here with us, and one of them's a bottle of private bottling for distillery visitors, Springbank. This is probably worth, I don't know, whatever money that would be worth, but I think we'll just open that and drink it, will we? Or I will. Because you told somebody the other day you don't like whiskey, which is pretty ironic since you've been doing a whiskey show for 2.5 years.
I know, but he said he didn't like whiskey either. He was honest. He said he didn't like whiskey either, but he discovered that there are some he likes. This is all about a voyage of discovery. There's some fantastic whiskies out there.
Well, surely. But we were drinking in the commercial, and my paddy in the commercial and in Campbelltown, away from just south of Ballymena, one our lot. So yeah, a great guy. So will we do the news, won't we? We'll do a wee bit of news and then we'll do a wee bit of chatting.
We can do.
Do you want to name this?
Give us a wee drop, just a wee drop.
You're only getting a wee drop.
Just a wee drop. Did I try this the other day? Did I? No?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think I maybe did. We'll do the news. We can't do the jingle because we don't have it. And if we play it, Sony, well, I'm worried about them coming around looking for us with the baseball bats, Marty, to be honest.
That's Disney. Disney do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I remember I was explaining to my son. My son asked me, "Did the mafia still run Las Vegas?" And I said, "No, son, no. They get totally outgunned by Mickey Mouse." And he laughed. He didn't think this. He thought I was joking. I wasn't really, because Disney moved in and basically told the mafia, "We'll absolutely destroy you." You know, the law enforcement in America might put them in jail. Disney will just absolutely crucify them.
They would.
Mickey Mouse, don't mess with Mickey Mouse.
They would.
Now, news this week. Our friends over at the Crawley Distillery down in Donegal have had their official opening. Now, it was done by the Secretary of State for the Gaeltacht region. Now, if you're not sure what the Gaeltacht region is, it's an area in Ireland that is basically pushing the Irish language. It's a big deal. Everybody sort of has to speak the Irish language. It's an area in which the Irish language comes first, essentially. It's to try and preserve, promote and protect and further the Irish language. So
culturally, it's a very good thing.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I always try and tell my guests this whenever we're talking about Scots Gaelic and Scots and stuff and the Irish language back home. Languages aren't just a way of communicating; they're a way of seeing the world. And you know, it's a good thing that they're being promoted. So Jack Chambers, Secretary of State for the Gaeltacht, went down, done the cutting of the ribbon, and they have put 1.3 million euros refurbing what was the old Crawley Doll distillery. You'll have seen the wee Crawley dolls, wee faces with the wee red shawls on. So they've done that. Now, they are now doing tours. They've been doing tours for a while, but they have they've done their official opening. The tours are €19 and €27 depending on the serves that you have, and there is child admission available for €10. I like the fact that sort of the normalization of whiskey, where they get people to get kids to come down, and you're not exposing them to drink. You're basically just telling them that that you know that it's a normal thing to have a drink. There's nothing wrong with it as long as you do it within reason. So yeah, that's pretty good. So they have a thing. All roads lead to Crawley. Okay. Well, it really is about 4 roads in Donegal, to be honest.
True.
It probably is true whenever you put it like that.
True.
When you put it like that, it probably is true. But yeah, all roads lead to Crawley. So that we'll have to get a run down there. I think Joe and those guys a shout and get down. Although if they start speaking Irish to us, we'll not have a clue what they're talking about.
All right.
Since we don't speak any of it at all.
No, we don't. We don't. But they speak German, so that's all right.
I don't. If they speak German, you're laughing. I don't think there's a German Gaeltacht region in Ireland. I don't think.
There's not.
You never know. Never know. So all roads lead to Crawley.
Good.
So good on them. Good on them. That's them up and running.
Good. So what else have we got this week? Because it's 10 past already. We better say hello to some people. Frank Hearn saying tonight's pour is a dark silky, actually.
Good man. Donegal again. Donegal.
Yeah. And Thomas Jones is saying he's on. He went off and the off license and he bought dark silky, but it was sold out. He tried to buy it, but it was sold out. Yeah.
Dark Silky sold out. James, you're going to have to up the game, pal. Get more production done. Get more bottled and away.
Yeah. Troy Avery is saying good evening. I think.
Troy, how are you?
Was he on one of your tours? Was he?
Troy was. He's from Wisconsin, Green Bay Packers fan, as far as I remember.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Very
so
good.
yeah. So Troy, hope you're keeping well. My friend, hope you're keeping well. Now, next story. The first direct ship from China, freight ship docked into Greenock.
Wow.
Last week.
That's a big looking ship. That is a massive looking ship.
All these things are massive looking, you know. But what are you doing? Rearranging stuff?
I'm not doing anything. There's a funny noise in the background.
All right, okay, you're wrecking the place. Here we go. No, Justin's doing stuff. At least it's not in his Versace underpants. Anyway, so the first direct shipment has come across from China, docked into Glasgow, into Greenock. And it's brought over textiles, furniture, toys, all that kind of stuff. But it's heading back with 1 million bottles of whiskey on it. Now, costs of everything are shooting up. I mean, to produce whiskey at the minute, we'll talk a wee bit about this later on. The cost of all this is now shooting up. And the fact that there's a direct shipment from...
But that won't last very long in China, 1 million bottles.
Well, the thing about it is, this isn't one ship. They've now set up this route, so it's going to be going back and forth. So it's kind of like an airline setting up a route from Belfast to Amsterdam. You know, it's one of those things. Build it and they will come. Now, the fact that you're going to be able to reduce the shipping costs, I mean, that can only be a good thing. And 1 million bottles in China, I mean, 1 million bottles doesn't necessarily mean it's going to last that long. But the fact that it's there is opening up more and more trade routes to China and more trade routes to hopefully to other places, and that can only
as long as it doesn't get stuck in the Suez Canal.
Well, that was a bit of a balls up, really, wasn't it? But
I heard some other ship was stuck in the Suez Canal again.
I don't know, but whenever you see how tight the margins is down there, I mean, you see the size of those ships going through that thing. I mean, it's tiny, you know.
It is.
When you think about it.
I think some other ship was stuck in the Suez Canal recently or something like that, was it?
We couldn't have stuck for very long. We'd have heard about it.
Well, I think we did. I think we did hear about it.
But no, they're taking 1 million bottles back again, and well, that's a good thing in my book.
But the trouble is, a lot of whiskey's going unsold in Russia.
Well, put it like this: the way the world is at the minute, there's the Russian market's now gone. And certainly for Irish whiskey, that's a huge blow. But I don't think anybody really has an objection to this. I think most people are fairly on side with blocking things going to Russia after what's been going on. But I mean, the war in Ukraine, I mean, that's pushing up grain prices. And I want to talk a little bit about barley and grain in a little minute. But so it's pushing that up. The shipping costs have come down a bit from what they were at the peak, you know, during the sort of COVID peak. But I mean, that's another cost. So anything that you can cut margins on, or cut the expenses on, I should say, is going to be a good thing. You know?
What about the grain from places like Canada? Because Jordy Burke's tuned in tonight from Prince Edward Island. They have allowed some of the grain shipments through from Ukraine, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. They have, but I mean, even just the how would you put it? The uncertainty of the whole thing. I mean, apparently the first boat that went out, the Russians started firing at it. So, you know, there's grain coming out, but there's still uncertainty. You know, so I mean, all of that, it's commodity price. Now, I'll talk more about that later on. But as I say, it could be a game changer for Scotch whiskey, and hopefully, why not start bringing them into Belfast and to Dublin, you know, and start doing that as well.
Nice.
That would be nice.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
Now, here's a headline you didn't think you were going to see. I sent you a link there. You maybe I emailed it to you. Just that's what I was looking for on at the start, because I thought I'd send it to you.
I have the link. I have the link.
This is a water shortage in Scotland. Who would have known that there was such a thing? But apparently, they are talking about withdrawing some water usage license from certain industries. So farmers, for example, golf courses, and much more importantly, whiskey distilleries. This is in East Lothian. So there's a couple of distilleries will be affected, but the Glenkinchy is there. That would be the big one. Glenkinchy's there. And the turnaround, shipping costs are up, barley costs are up, energy costs are up, and now they're talking about cutting the water off to them.
Now hold on a minute here. These council workers, so there's not enough people to pick the rubbish up.
Oh no, there's plenty of people who pick the rubbish up. They're just on strike. Although it's clean there today. They must have.
There can't be any water shortages here.
No, well, that's what they're saying. There's had the significant scarcity levels. That's why it's been put. So Scottish borders remain at significant water scarcity level, with suspensions on abstractions still in place. Now, they're sort of. I mean, this is like the perfect storm for distilleries. What are you going to say?
I thought a lot of them got it from springs that they had access to, and
yes,
right,
but some of them don't.
Right.
So if they're in an area that's saying you're taking it from supply, I mean, don't forget all the processes that water's required for whiskey. Number one for your steeping, number two for your cooling, for your watering down, etc., etc. Once you start adding up, they use a huge volume of water. You're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of liters.
We've seen a lot of water being used for cooling. I mean, if you've 2 stills, you've 2 columns to cool it. If you've 3 stills, you've 3 columns.
I mean, depending on what way you're cooling it, but it doesn't really matter. You have to cool it down after you're doing your steeping. It has to be cooled down before the yeast goes in. Then once it's being distilled, it has to be cooled down. Then it has to be cut, and then all of this requires huge volumes of water. And to start limiting that is going to. I mean, again, it's going to push it up.
Right. But they rely on stocks. So, we were in distilleries there that don't produce all year round. So if they did it in the rainy season and then cut production,
but there's still at some point all of this impacts. You're basically looking at reduced production now, which you'll have stock to cover you now, but you're just kicking the can down the road.
Right.
How do you? I mean, if a distillery is running at more or less full production, how do you up that again? So it'll be interesting to see just exactly where that ends up. But basically, it's getting as hard as possible to make whiskey.
Long-term global warming, and
we are now seeing the effect of global warming, and that's the reality of the whole thing. There's no. People say, "Oh, I don't really, how it's not as bad as you're going to say," and so on and so forth. It's these extremes. I mean, we've had no rain in Scotland for very little rain in Scotland for a long time, very, very little. Then it rains a wee bit today, and now there's a weather warning. So they're talking about flooding.
I've seen that, the weather warnings for Edinburgh and up round the other side. Yeah.
So it's those extremes, which they have been talking about for a long time now. So that's the problem.
Who knows where it's going to end, folks? If you're watching tonight, remember we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on Twitch, we're on Telegram. Make sure you hit share, tag your friends so they can watch the show. Best place to watch us is on YouTube, because then you'll get a notification. Hit subscribe, it's free, and you'll get a bell every week. That it's on. What's happened tonight is probably some of my mates have forgot the bell and they said, "Oh, I must ring Justin." Yeah, but I can guarantee you they do.
Yeah, just to know you.
Well, people do know. I mean, listen, you've begun to realize that I am cursed, haven't you? No train where there's a train due, no pizza where there's a pizza oven that's fired up.
This is. I swear this is true. This happens all the time with Justin. We went down tonight. We wandered down. We thought we'll go to a pub. Neither two of us had been before. We went down to the pub. He says, "Oh, I'm hungry," because he had a bit of a doze, and I says, "I'm going for something to eat." So I went and had a lovely Korean stuff. It was lovely. Fried chicken and all. You're not allowed to swear. If I'm not allowed to swear, you're not allowed to swear.
It's live.
So we went to the pub, had a wee pint, and he just said, "Oh, I'm very hungry. I says, well, the place across the road, I think, serves pizzas and stuff. All right, he says, that'd be lovely. And just as he's walking across, he says, oh, I'd love a pizza. Pizza would be lovely.
Because it's real pizza oven, I could see it.
Now, it's 10 to 8 on a Saturday night. We walk in and he asks, can we get a pizza? The boy says, no, the kitchen's closed.
Actual pizza chef. And he took great pleasure in saying it to me. But there you go. We won't name the bar. We won't name the bar.
But honestly, who's still serving dinner at 8 o'clock on a Saturday evening? That only happened to you. Like, what only happened to you?
Hold on. Here, listen. Some people have got back to us about the water. I'm watching on a very small screen tonight. We've got multiple screens here, but they're very small. I normally have a big 24-inch monitor about a foot away from me, but I'm having to do it television instead tonight because we're live. What does that say? Can't salt water be used for cooling down? Just wondering.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it can because
it doesn't cool as well because of the salt in it. Yeah,
and also you're bringing in all that mineral stuff that probably end up corroding your copper and stuff. So I don't think so. Plus, a lot of the distilleries are quite a ways away from the sea. So yeah, I would sincerely doubt if you can use it.
Although the ones we were at, you could actually taste the sea in the whiskey.
But put it like this, they'll not run out of water because there's a man-made dam just up above them. And it goes by the water, so they'll be all right.
I'm surprised you didn't make me traipse me up to that dam.
Justin, I know you. There's absolutely zero chance you'd have traipsed up to that dam. you had to traipse up to the pot still bar tonight and you were killing you.
I know. Listen, here's Frank Hearn. It says, I'm doing my bit for the environment tonight, the water assurance. I just put another half in my glass instead of a wee drop of water.
Good man. Yeah. Good man. See, it's concern like that, Frank, that will help save the planet.
It will.
Help save us all.
It will, ultimately.
Ultimately, little changes make all the difference, Justin.
They do.
Now, next story, the Glenlivet. Okay. Now, the Glenlivet have brought out a thing. I sent you the link.
I have it.
Glenlivet have done a video. It's about breaking the stereotypes, and I'm all for this. Whenever people think about whiskey drinkers, and this is what they've done, they've taken this. But people talk about whiskey drinkers, they think of the old boy with a Scotty dog type thing. You know, it still has a bit of that about it, and it's not really true. I mean, whiskey's a young and happening drink as such. More so, you go to a bar like the Pot Still here in Glasgow, and I mean the vast majority of people, probably I would say 40% of the customers in it are women. Fairly young, hippie sort of crowd, you know. Yeah, so it's fairly mixed bag.
Yeah,
really,
more women here than other places, I would say. Yeah.
Certainly, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's half, but it's certainly heading that way. So why not? And invariably, it's the old white dude with the Scotty dog with his feet up in the still drinking whiskey. It still kind of has a bit of that image, and it's not true. So what Glenlivet have done is they've taken lots of pictures of ethnically diverse people, young kids, you know, lots of ladies and whatnot and so on. Basically, just a broad spectrum of people, and started to feed it to try and, if you put in whiskey drinker on Google, the images aren't all old guys. So they've tried to do this to break the algorithm and break the stereotypes. Now, can you play that video, can you?
I think I might be able to play that video. Here we go. Whether they can hear the audio or not, I do not know. And it may be too much for the system. Come on.
I think that's a good thing, you know. I mean, there's shit showing anybody can drink whiskey, anybody can be a whiskey drinker. It's not just the especially not the macho bollock. You know, we've all met these fucking dickheads.
Well, it used to be old men in flat caps, but it isn't really now.
No, it's not. But there's still that perceived image, and certainly you still have the "I'm a whiskey drinker" macho bullshit. They all think they're fucking John Wayne or something. You know, they're full of shit. I'm allowed to swear. If you're allowed to swear, I'm allowed to swear. You keep telling me off for doing it, but anyway. Now, the one thing was that they shared this on Twitter, and if you go to the Twitter page, somebody put up a thing, and I've redacted out the guy who posted this, but he said, "Oh, sure, they're all models, they're all paid." And Glenlivet come on and said, "No, these are actual real live whiskey drinkers." And then somebody done an image search and found out they're listed on the model. Half of them is models.
Yes,
of course they are.
yes, I know. I know.
They're like they're listed on model pages. But Glenlivet obviously didn't know this. They paid a company to produce this to highlight the thing, which is fair enough. And the company thought, well,
They maybe don't. Listen, I can show you this again a bit better, actually, now. I think you can show it a bit better. They all look like models to me, Marty.
well, they kind of do, don't
They all look like models to me.
And that's kind of the thing. If you go onto the Glenlivet Twitter page, you'll see that the other, go, no, these are actual whiskey drinkers, actual people. And it turns out the guy goes, no, here's her listed in this model agency. Here's this dude in this model agency.
Listen.
I mean, obviously Glenlivet hadn't been told this. I mean, I kind of admired what they're trying to do. Say that whiskey's for everybody. Everybody can have a drink. It's not the image. They want to get away from that. But then again, it's a bit like the Irish whiskey industry tried for years to get away from the drunken fighting Irishman. We're Irishmen drinking. And then bring out Robert 12 with Conor McGregor. It's bullshit. Spend years trying to get away from that.
I know. It's funny. It is funny.
But it's kind of funny. But no, I wholeheartedly concur. I think everybody's entitled to drink whatever whiskey they want, whatever way they want to drink it. And I think it's a good thing in that regard. But the guy at the Silent Pill Distillery, the guy who owns the Silent Pill Distillery, decided to go on Sky News podcast the other day. And what he said was that whiskey is a male-centric drink. Now, in this day and age, you can't really say that, especially whenever about 40% of the people that drink are women. But he's gin is for women and whiskey's for men. That's kind of the story he was telling. And you're like, oh my good God. Oh.
People do put their foot in it.
No, it's like Gerald Ratner and why do we sell so much because it's all crap? What the hell?
Well, you should never do anything like that.
No,
it's rather bad for you.
Mm.
What was it? Ian King Live he was on. I think it was.
It was. Yeah, Ian King Live. So he came on, and he basically said that whiskey's a male-centric drink. But the one thing he brought out, the woodcutter's daughter. Now, lots of these whiskies have backstories. They have, some they'll pick a narrative and they'll go with that. I'm not too sure about his, because on the back of his bottles, the woodcutter's daughter I'll just read it here because I have it on my phone. Bear with me 2 seconds. On the back of his bottle, is that picture?
All right. Yep.
It says the Silent Pool is a picturesque location located in the Surrey Hills, so in England. And since the 19th century, there has been a legend attached to the pool. According to the legend, a fair maiden was bathing in the pool when she was startled by a young prince on horseback. She refused his advances and moved away into deeper waters and tragically drowned. The young maiden was the woodcutter's daughter. This whiskey is a tribute to her courageous and independent spirit. I'm not 100% sure that like sexual molestation and then her dying is really a whiskey that you'd really want to be putting in. It's not really a story that I necessarily think. It's not one that you're going to buy into quite quickly. I'm not really 100% sure what they're trying to do there. But I do think they could maybe rethink all of that. I don't think that's the best way.
I know, but a lot of these people it's the woke get them too quickly. I mean, why are they not allowed to say what
they can say what they think, but it's just sort of stupid, is it not? I mean, why?
Well, it's a bit 1952. It's a bit 1952.
It's more than a bit 1952. It's more than a bit 1952. It's a bit stupid, and putting that on the back of a bottle of whiskey is a bit nuts, really. You know, I don't get that. Why would that be something you'd aspire to? Oh, this girl was pestered. Justin's doing something, folks. Don't worry about it. He's
can't get the photos to go up. They're on WhatsApp, and WhatsApp won't transfer to the computer for some reason. There you go. Technical difficulties. We'll have to kill the wee girl with a clipboard. Hold on, I can kill her.
No, you're not allowed to do that either.
There you go. I've just killed her.
I'll send this to you on.
Send it to with me on Messenger, and I should be able to bring it up.
All right, okay. Bear with us 2 seconds, folks. This is all new to us. Where are we?
Remember, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, Telegram. Remember, hit us up, hit share, hit subscribe, especially on YouTube. If you do message in, you can see your message appear on screen, just like this here, like Jody Burke, Prince Edward Island. So different, you guys not split screen.
I know.
And no whiskey under the table.
I know.
Hold on. There's whiskey hidden behind the books. There's whiskey hidden behind the curtains. There's whiskey in the closet. There's whiskey in the drawer. There's whiskey in the jar. There's whiskey everywhere.
Listen. We don't go anywhere without any whiskey. Let's be honest. How on earth would I get through a weekend with Justin and Versace wife fronts without alcohol? How on earth do you think I would cope?
They're not Versace wife fronts. What scares me is the fact that you've actually noticed that they do look like Versace ones, but I didn't even realize that they were.
They're that size wife fronts. Oh god, it's an image. I can't sandpaper my eyes, Justin. I can't put bleach in my eyes to get rid of the image.
All right.
Yeah, trust me.
I've never realized that they're Versace, but they are Versace. Somebody maybe bought me them. I shouldn't wear things like that. I mean,
No.
you know, when you take off your clothes in the GP, he probably thinks, why is this guy not paying for the private clinic? But anyway.
I don't know.
Listen, I might be able to show those on screen now. Those politically incorrect stuff. Here we go.
It's not even that they're political. They are politically incorrect, but it's not that. It's just it's kind of bollocks. Like, you know, I mean, it's awful. I mean, would you want to buy into a story like that? So some girl got sexually pestered by some boy and then killed herself. It's not really.
No,
it's not really a story you're
but,
buying into.
But weird things happen like that all the time.
Yeah, I know, but it's not something. Why would you put that in a whiskey bottle? Like, it just doesn't strike me as that good. You know.
So we've managed to get it on there. You can have a look at it there. It's on screen now. That's the tweet. That's actually the tweet, is it? Yeah, it is the tweet. Yeah. And let me see if we get the photograph up. If I can get it up. Can we? Should be able to get it up.
This is why you do that stuff, because
that's because we're in a hotel and it thinks I'm trying to hack into the hotel system and find out what room.
Get 2 breakfasts.
Get 2 breakfasts. Yeah. They know me. They know me eternally well. You know. There you
You've
go.
stated before.
There's Jackie saying hello. Hope you're well. Julie as well. Yeah, these are unusual. Let's have a closer look at these again. Let me see. We brought that up on screen.
This is the Woodcutter's Daughter whiskey, £65, 46%. It's vegan. You know, I don't really know why he's highlighting the fact that it's vegan, and then it's about an attempt at rape where a woman drowned herself. Yeah, I don't. It's just a bullshit story. It's sort of crap, really, isn't it?
I know, but if you go into the details of all those old stories, they're always.
I know, but they're not really printed on a whiskey bottle. It's crap. Like, let's be honest, it's crap. And then for him to come on and say, "Oh, whiskey's a meal-centric drink," no, I don't really get that.
Maybe not.
I think the whole thing's bullshit, to be quite honest.
What do you think of that, folks? Do you think that's legit? Do you think it's... sometimes people maybe do things like this for publicity.
Could be.
It's been known to be done before.
Yeah.
For publicity.
But that does strike me as a sort of a bit of an own goal. I mean, for all I know, he's a nice enough guy or whatever, but it just strikes me as being sort of pathetic, if I'm honest. But anyway, that's the news this week, guys. That's the news this week.
Is that everything? We've done everything.
That's all I want to do this week.
We've done everything. We've done that. Going nuclear. We did have a gin story.
What do you mean a gin? That's a Silent Pool gin story.
Oh, all right.
Aye, where he said it was sure.
No. I have to think.
I know. This is what happens when Justin tries to think. Everyone goes pear-shaped.
I have to think what I'm doing here as well as talk to you. It's like doing this here. That's what it's like doing.
Don't be slapping that too much.
No, the whiskey might come up. What have you got? Grain in your pocket?
I have. I stole this yesterday from Springbank. But there's a reason why I stole it. Hang on, it's all in my back pocket. I don't really do this.
Show it to that screen over there. Show it to that screen. Like,
easy. Breakfast cereal, just breakfast. He's not getting bacon and black pudding or anything here anymore. By the way, we're in the Radisson Blue Hotel. The breakfast down here is absolutely top drawer. I'll tell you that.
But we're not getting the room free. Why give them a mention? Because
saying.
You know,
I've stayed here loads of times, and the breakfast here is dead nice. Anyway, what we have here. This is KWS Sassy Barley. Okay. Now, loads of people are turning to this barley because it's got a great yield. Okay, that's kind of thing, and this is important when you are a farmer, obviously, and when you are going to make whiskey with.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I'm just pulling this apart because this is what you're wanting. Now, I'm going to put white powder on the hotel table.
Yeah, well, show it to that camera over there. Because
hang on. Let me get it out first. Because what you really want is this stuff in here. You want basically the flour. That's what's turning into. Then putting a white powder on a table in a hotel room. So if the police bust in here, you have to use all your charm and get me off of this.
No, we would get done, because what you'd find out is that dust would contaminate with nuclear radiation and would be definitely for the high jump.
And you would have been in contact with some Russian dude or something.
Yeah. So some of the Russian hackers on there. Show that over there. Over there.
This white powder. This is what you're wanting, really, because this is what the yeast eat, and then they basically, well, the way I always tell people is they fart out carbon dioxide and pee out alcohol. That's kind of what they do. So if you get this, now white it used to be used. They keep changing the varieties. You know, there's different barley varieties, and it's all to do with yield and cost. And a lot of places moved over to this Sassy a few years ago, or even fairly recently. And we found out that, well, it's Campbelltown whiskies that we're talking to. This is what they're using. There's a 2-row barley. And one of the things is it's a spring variety, and it grows quite quickly. It's fairly disease resistant, and it's got really good yield. However, the cost of it is starting to go through the roof. When this was sort of adopted a couple of years ago, the cost of it was about £150 per tonne. It's now over 300. Again, this is a huge factor. So I was kind of thinking about this. The guys who are doing the grain to glass stuff that are growing their own barley, they're going to be saving a lot of money here. That's a huge amount of money, actually. So are you going to find that the small artisanal stuff is possibly going to be competitive price-wise to the sort of more industrial style stuff? Because it's kind of being geared that way. Because they don't have the huge cost that the grain's going to be under time. But why would it not be? Thoughts, Justin. Thoughts.
So give me this. It makes it more economically competitive
To grow your own barley. What do you think of it? I mean,
but the smaller artisanal guys won't want to. They always sell at a premium because it's lower volume anyway.
Yeah, it's lower volume. But what I'm trying to say is, if your grain prices are costing you at least twice as much as they were a couple of years ago, the guy who's growing his own barley, albeit on a fairly small scale, he or she is not having to pay huge amounts. So in that way, they're kind of protected. So you have this cost that the artisanal guy is not having really to deal with. You don't have to contend with that. The fertilizer costs are going through the roof, but that's going to be for everybody. So again, I sort of think that just popped into my head. I mean, the reason we're using this, I'll not cut up too many more of these people think I'm getting a credit card out and start cutting it, you know. You see, one of the things is another factor in this, you don't really think of this when you think about whiskey, is the straw that it makes actually quite tall. It's 78 centimetres tall, which means that cut that and you can sell on the straw for animal feed.
But still, for animal feed.
Yeah. And they give a lot of some of them give away. I mean, when whiskey, the byproducts of whiskey, the pot and stuff that's never finished goes out as a fertilizer. The draft, the stuff after you extract all of this, basically that goes out and it's fed to cattle. A lot of it's not fed to sheep because it kills them. A lot of people don't tell you that, but don't tell you that, but it's too high copper and stuff. Yeah, don't feed it to sheep.
Right.
Feed it to cows.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't do well for sheep.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But no, they feed it cow. But no, so basically lots of this is all being recycled. But the main point is that this ticks a lot of boxes for distilling. And the small guy isn't putting up with the huge grain prices. The war in Ukraine, that's driving up the prices hugely. So I just thought this basically today actually, that the small guy in some ways is protected from that. That's one cost that is lower. And yeah, maybe going forward they'll start doing lots more stuff locally because people like this. This is filled the glass stuff. People like that.
Okay. Some people are saying they're getting a little bit of an echo on Facebook. You should have told us that earlier. All the things are on mute, are they? They are on mute. Is that better? There's no echo now.
Are you sure?
Don't do that. They'll get confused.
Are you sure?
So the echo has gone. The echo is gone. Yeah, the echo is gone. See, I haven't got an earpiece in because I'm in it tonight. I can't monitor it. It's a lot more complicated than Marty realizes because he realizes that when we're together, exactly what it's doing. There's a hamster underneath on a wheel going around like mad.
I don't give a shit.
He doesn't care.
This is why he does that, and I drink whiskey.
But if you realize the amount of wires and the reposition of lights in this hotel suite, you would realize how bad it is. Yeah. Yes. That's better. Back to normal. Sorry about that. Always say if there's any technical difficulties because I can't tell. One thing you might realize is you see this little thing that you put on here, right? Watch this. This will tell you about the nuances of the internet, right? This little widget that says follow us, right? Now it appears in the middle of us, right? but it appears in the middle of us the other way round.
No, it doesn't.
No, you can't see it.
No.
Look at my screen.
See, I have to see. I can't see that.
All right, but there you
It's
go.
upside down. Never really look at it.
There you, I know. There you go. So there's lots of nuances going on. You get feedback in Mobius Loop. You should have told me that. Sorry about that. I do have everything muted here. We can't actually hear what's coming back. That's why I couldn't tell whether you could hear the YouTube video or not. That's why I had to play it 2 different ways to make sure you could hear it.
Yeah.
But people are watching tonight. They say it's much better, back to normal. Yes, we have USB mics in tonight. You see, both USB mics, but they're wireless because we're 2 in the one place. Otherwise, you need one mic between us, and somebody would be coming through stronger than the other. But I moved the light around. That's why we're better lit now. But I didn't want to be too bright. But it wasn't reflecting enough off the net curtains. But there you go.
All right, it wasn't reflecting enough off the net curtains. All right, okay, good. That's all right. No, so this is sassy barley. Okay.
Show it up close on that one. Show it up close on that one. Hold on. Swap it around. Yeah. Hold on. There we go. There.
So this is sassy barley. And this is what lots of people are going over to. Lots of distilleries are now moving over to this. One of the things is it's fairly uniform. That's always a good thing. But I find out it's over £300 a ton now. I mean, that's these guys are using tons and tons and tons of that stuff.
You know when he said sassy barley?
Sassy barley.
I thought it was rassy barley. He was saying. You see?
I thought you were going to say it was something like
No. I just thought
anyone remembers Wurzel Gummidge. Do you remember Wurzel Gummidge? Sassy barley. Saucy nuts.
I hated Wurzel Gummidge. He was brilliant as Doctor Who, but he was awful as Wurzel Gummidge. I did like him in the Vodafone advert, but I never have Vodafone.
People from the States, if you don't know what Wurzel Gummidge was, it was a 1970s and 80s kids TV show about a walking, talking, living scarecrow who had an affair with
she was a pincushion dolly or something, Aunt Sally.
Aunt
but
Sally.
Listen, I don't mean like the scarecrows like Live and Let Die, folks. I mean a nice scarecrow.
He was a nice scarecrow, yeah.
Although there was bad ones, I think there was bad ones.
There's a couple of evil ones, and then remember the crow man said he was going to take his head off and all.
I like the crow man.
No, but that's because you're evil. And you know the crow man was bad get.
It is. Very good. Very good. Very good. Listen, say hello tonight if you want to say hello. If you want to ask Marty a question about farming techniques, he's available as a consultant.
An exorbitant rate.
Because he lives in Ballymena, he knows about these things.
I know all about it.
For some reason.
But no, yeah, I just thought it was interesting that these guys are swapping over to this from Laureate, I think was the sort of main one, and there's a few other ones that are being used. Obviously, it was interesting because you'll see this next week. It was fantastic talking to Ian McAllister of Glen Scotia.
You tell them about that. I'm going to do something.
God knows what that is. Please don't get into your Versace wave fronts again. Anyway,
I don't come back with the Versace wave fronts.
No, we were talking to Ian McAllister, who's the distillery manager, master blender, or master distiller of Glen Scotia. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm a huge fan of Glen Scotia. It's right up there with my top distilleries. I love their stuff. Victoriana is just amazing. But we were talking to him, and he was talking about the effect that the barley has and the barley quality. And it was mentioned to him, it was mentioned to a couple of other ones, that moving from one barley grain to another, does it have an effect? And he went, yes. He even said whoever does the malting, there's an effect there too. And everything has an effect. So to move from one barley grain to another, it is a bit of a gamble, and you are going to possibly affect the flavour. Now, hopefully, they can even that out. They can do their work their magic on it. But it is interesting that the industry's moving across to that. Now, we were at this place as well. the Glengail Distillery, and they're Kilkieran. Do you want me to drop Kilkieran?
Go ahead. Yes.
And Springbank, if I'm honest, you probably have your own bottle of this you get.
I do.
And that's why you're drinking mine.
I'm going to take it home and give it to my neighbours.
There we go. No, so the Glengail Distillery, and did you notice?
Shut up close to that camera.
Campbelltown. Campbelltown. You see this on here? This is Campbelltown Church. It's got an extremely. I think the guy who was making Campbelltown Church was trying to make up for lacking in other things.
It does look like one.
It's a bit phallic, really, isn't it?
It is.
It's a bit nuts. It's a big, sort of huge thing. Yeah, I sent a picture of it to a friend of mine today, and it was the first thing she said. Was, it's a bit rude because it's just a picture of it. Anyway, so we go with Kilkieran and the Glengail Distillery, and yeah, they've moved over as well. Springbank's moved over to Sassy, and most of the other ones have as well. Justin will be talking to people on the phone here. What's he doing?
No, I'm looking to see who's sitting on YouTube.
All right, okay, good.
Yeah,
because you never know, Justin. You could be taking out the price.
Magic is said hello. He says,
Magic,
clap, clap, clap. Magic is said hello. Clap, clap, clap.
Mm.
Yeah. There you go. And I can't look at Twitch and Telegram, you see, because it takes too much computing power, even though we've got, obviously you can see it's top of the range apples, but the only trouble is it's just too much because you're streaming, and then sometimes if the sound comes back, you get the echo as well if I check. So
all right, okay. See, that's why you do that stuff. I'm just bored. I talk about farming and barley and whiskey all day, beer even. We'll just start talking tech stuff. No, no. You love all that stuff. No, not for me.
But it's science. You love science.
I do. That's not science. It's all that is kind of, but it's not really.
All right, whatever you say.
Aye. So this, they're all moving over to this. But next week we're going to do a kind of special, even though we were there all day. We were there 2 nights. Around Campbelltown. If you don't know anything about Campbellton or Campbelltown or whatever you want to pronounce it, it's the smallest whiskey region in Scotland, and it almost disappeared. They almost forgot about it. But at one point it was the Spey side of Scotland at the time. I mean, there was over 30 distilleries. There was about 25 running.
Legal ones.
Yeah, well, loads of illegal ones, but they were massively big, but they were producing huge amounts of whiskey, and I mean, fabulous stuff, and they all disappeared. They were down to 3 by 1930. They were down to 2 after that, and then down to 1. Springbank's the only one that kept going the whole way, and then Scotia reopened, and they were in danger of losing their regionality, so they opened up Glengail. But
Springbank's the only one that does everything. It's the only one that does everything.
Springbank does everything on site. I mean, it's just stupid. I mean, it's genuinely stupid.
And it's such a big site. To do it properly, you need to go on both tours, and then have
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's a big site, but it's not massive. I mean, it's not huge in the way some of the. I mean, Middleton's far bigger, but it's a big enough site within a small town. But I mean, Springbank do everything, and it's all done by hand. It's all hugely labour intensive, hugely expensive, and it's superb. I mean, it really is.
So we've got a question in tonight. What was the profession of the girl who was literally outstanding in her field, the one that couldn't pronounce? Because I actually seen that photograph again, the girl standing in the field, but some other...
Grace O'Reilly.
Grace O'Reilly.
Grace down in Waterford.
Agronomist.
See, you used to be able to say it, now I can't. Field walker, that was what she...
Field walker. But somebody else was using field walker.
Crop walker, that was...
I think it was Crawley. Crawley had a crop walker in there.
Possibly, but Grace has now left Waterford, by the way. She's gone, which is a huge loss to them, because she was superb. She was superb.
Yeah, and we're getting a question in from Michael.
agronomist.
Julie's saying agronomist. Listen, Michael Matthews saying, is it only the Scottish distilleries who are changing the barley? Are any of the Irish ones following?
I think it's kind of being changed over for a fair few of them. I don't know. I hadn't realised that they changed over as quickly, because this has only been about for a couple of years. This variety, and it's only has to be authorised to be able to be used for distilling purposes.
By the file? Oh, but yeah.
No, not by the technical file, but it's authorised for distilling.
Do they use it because it dries out quicker, or why?
No, well, the moisture content and stuff is over. I mean, there's loads of factors in this stuff. One, cost. That's the number one thing. I mean, if it's too expensive, then most people will not use it. But it's to do with yield. It's to do with how it grinds up. You know, is it standard? Is it nitrogen levels? You know, protein levels, and all this kind of stuff. So they what they're doing really is wanting to get it as good a yield, bang for your buck, but also have flavour. And so I don't know too much about it. I don't know whether the Irish ones have moved over or not, but I'll certainly be asking the question anytime I'm seeing them. But if you go on distillery tours, guys, ask these kind of questions, because you begin to find out, well, are they moving over? Are they? Because there's all of this has to affect flavour. Everything before fermentation is to feed the little yeasties, and then after whatever the yeasties do, you basically just cutting it down and refining it. That's essentially what it is. So what you give the yeast to munch away on, that's really what they want to do. So when they're changing over barley varieties, I mean, Waterford, we just mentioned, I mean, their big thing is the whole terroir, single field, basically, single farm, single field bottlings. And you can't, I mean, there's huge variation in them. There is huge variation in them. I know there's some people still reticent to admit this, but I mean, Ian McAllister told us that even who malts your barley for you has an effect on the overall flavour.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you have to then blend that out and try and even out your product, which it's kind of why whiskey's such a complex spirit, why it's so different. But yeah, it was interesting that they moved over, that I found out that they've started to move over quite quickly in the grand scheme of things, you know, for what's a fairly recent variety.
Yes. Should we leave that for next week, Cadenhead, or are you going to mention it tonight while we're in there?
Well, we stopped off at Cadenhead, and I bought that. Cadenheads do some wonderful stuff. Now, I'm not home for a day or two, so I didn't want to buy bottles and screen them around, but we went in.
He didn't trust me to make them back home safely. I might have said they got broken by the shipping company.
Put it like this: if you've ever seen Justin eating, when he sits down to eat, half of it goes across his chin, another bit of it will go down his shirt, some of it will end up in the chair, correct?
It's because I don't like sitting at those high up tables, and they always make you sit at them in bars.
So we had a nice. When you go to Campbelltown, I promise you, you'll not regret going to Campbelltown. Go to the Black Sheep and go and get the Haggis Nachos. The Justin was a bit reluctant about these Haggis Nachos. Now they're nachos with crumbed haggis, cheese and pepper sauce that are then sort of toasted until all the cheese melts and stuff. Justin,
they were spot on.
They were awesome. They are awesome. But Justin tried to eat them, and of course, bit of it ended up on the floor, bit in the chair. Some ended up in your trousers.
On the seat, I think.
On the seat.
On the seat.
Yeah. So the idea of me giving Justin some expensive whiskey to take over to Ireland, no,
it's not a good idea.
No, I wouldn't. You would back me up on this. It wouldn't be a great idea.
It is. It's not that I'm messy either. It just always happens to.
It's when you can get something to eat. He shuts the restaurant at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. As soon as they found out you were coming.
They know I'm coming. I'm like the Truman Show in reverse. Everybody else is in the Truman Show. I'm not. I'm. But
Honestly, folks, that happens all the time. I swear.
Yeah.
Remember the day we were running away the coffee shop, and all the people were sitting in the coffee shop, and you went in and they told you they were closed.
I know.
And the place was bunged and they
Listen,
told you it was closed.
Do you want, folks? Do you want to know why they do that? It's because when I went into this coffee shop when this girl just opened, when her back was turned, I lifted a pastel de nata and eat it in one go. And then when I went to pay, and she says, and a pastel de nata. And she says, sure, you haven't ate one. But I says, no, I ate one when your back was turned. And she didn't know how to take me at all. She didn't know how to take me. But anyway, it was worth it. It was worth
So
it.
she closed. This was like 2:00 in the afternoon. She closed the coffee shop. Even though the place was packed, they closed it just because Justin was coming out. They're funny.
It does.
It's funny.
It does.
It's funny.
It does happen. It only ever happens to me.
It does only happen to you. Swear to God.
I know.
It's hilarious. It's always to you.
I know. It is.
But no, poor old Justin.
But listen, on that note of me eating and messing, hold on. I can show the video. I can show the video where the video's uploaded here.
What video?
The video where the pot still.
We went out tonight. We just went out round. I got something to eat. Justin had to get McDonald's. McDonald's will serve everybody. Even Justin. So Justin had a Big Mac. I'd lovely Korean stuff. Oh, fried chicken and all. Gochujang. Beautiful, just beautiful.
I was in the bath for an hour. I was in the bath for an hour.
Full up now.
I know, I was in the bath for an hour. But listen,
we're in Glasgow, and if you come to Glasgow, there's a couple of different whiskey bars, but this is the best. It really is. So I'm outside my favourite whiskey bar in the whole world. Brought one out. Not really supposed to, but you can see it. The Pot Still Bar. Now, it's that good that Justin's actually bought me a drink. Now, that doesn't happen very often, but I'm going to walk in here in a wee second. Now, honestly, it is just an awesome place. Awesome bar. You can see, no. What's that? Wait, walk in. And it is bung. Very crowded. Never been in here before. Look who's here. That'll wonder I drink, you know. That'll wonder I drink.
There we go. What a night. What a night.
Aye.
So it was good. Was good, folks.
Aye. Oh, the pot still's awesome. You're up, and honestly, the pot still, they have a whiskey of the month, £2.50. In this day and age,
what do you get for £2.50?
What do
a Euromillions ticket and you don't win?
I was convinced I won. I was sort of certain sure that I had. But anyway, then no, Pot Still Bar, £2.50 for the dram of the month. What was it tonight? King's Barn for £2.50 a dram. It's a superb place. It really is. So if the Bon Accord, great bar. There's other great whiskey bars in Glasgow. More so in Glasgow than Edinburgh, to be honest with you. But it's a couple of great whiskey bars, but the Pot Still's number one. Thanks, Frank, working on it. It's a great job.
Actually, on screen there, that's us in the Black Sheep. That's us in the Black Sheep. That's in the Black Sheep. That's the nachos. Do you see the nachos? I've managed to find a photo of the nachos. That's the nachos, and there's something to behold as well.
Awesome. I mean, they are genuinely fantastic. Genuinely fantastic. Campbelltown is, personally, I think it's ready to explode. There's 2 more distilleries coming to it. I'll take a trip back over and see them whenever they open up.
Yes,
but I wouldn't be surprised in 10 years' time there's a dozen distilleries in it, to be honest.
That will be good. Will they be able to cope with the infrastructure? Because I mean, they need the train back on there because the bus could hardly cope, and the boat only goes 3 times a week. So
don't forget, Brave with his remote submarines. Fill the submarines in the harbour. Justin, where there's well, there's a way.
That's true. That is true.
Who would have thought that a guy from Princeton University or wherever university it was could bully us with Zuckerberg in us? You know, I used to laugh at you getting Zuckerberg. I thought it was dead funny, and then it happened to me, and then it's not as funny. Oh, get.
True. So, great week this week, folks.
Going in for a treat next week.
You are in for a treat. We're going to love yous and leave yous. We'll show you what it looks like inside the pot still. If you get to Glasgow, have a look at this place. You will literally enjoy it. A fiver
It's-
for around for two people, a fiver
But
for
like this, the staff in it, their knowledge of whiskey is unbelievable. Every one of them, no matter what you go in, if you don't know, if you're new to whiskey or you know what you like or whatever, if you walk in, they have like 650 whiskies or something, some ridiculous, and it's mainly Scotch by far and away, the vast majority Scotch, but they do have a healthy selection of Irish stuff. You go in and somebody will turn around and say, oh, I want to buy something a bit pricey. I'll spend a tenner on a dram, spend £10 on a dram, and I kind of like something sweet. I don't want peat. And the next thing, they lift 4 bottles down, have them all sitting there, open up the corks, let you have a sniff of the cork, and you go, I kind of like that one. They'll tell you all the backstory to it. Bang, pour you out one, boom, there you go. And they let the bottle and all sit with you. I mean, the trust they have in their customers and stuff. You know, the customer service is superb. They're friendly, knowledgeable, huge selection. Don't rip the arse out of the prices. What more do you want? What more do you want?
Good. Thanks for watching, folks. Remember, same time, same place next week, 10 p.m. British summertime. It'll soon be Greenwich Mean Time. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, Telegram, Instagram, if I can get it to upload, but it never does because they keep on messing with it. Good night. Thanks for watching. And remember, you can watch it again, dead easy on YouTube. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, and then you know when we're on. All right? Great stuff.
Take care,
Cheerio,
guys.
folks. Cheerio, folks. Yep. Good night, Patrick. Good night. Thanks very much. Okay. Everybody saying bye-bye. Thank you, William. Oh, the boat trip.
Oh, boat trip. We still, I think there's maybe 2 spaces.
Yeah.
I'm not sure because there's 2 spaces left. So if anybody wants to go, get in touch ASAP. There's a couple of guys who said they're interested. They haven't divvied up yet. And if anyone's divvying up, you have to divvy up. Okay?
Yeah. So it's Saturday, the 1st of October from Ballycastle at 10 a.m. You have to be there early. Over to Isla or Islay if you're an American.
or a bad guide from Dublin.
Or a bad guy from Dublin. Yeah. And we're going. What have you got lined up? What's confirmed so far at the minute?
Well,
Can't remember.
No, I can't, but I can't disclose or might have to kill you.
And we can't say who's going because there's a couple of big hitters going.
Yeah, put it like this, there's people you want to talk to. What we're doing is getting the boat across. We'll go to Port Ellen. There's pubs and stuff there. We'll maybe go over there and get a wee bite of something to eat. That'll be on yourselves. And then, well, we'll go to Lafroig and Ardbeg. That's where we're going to go. And we'll get picked up at Ardbeg and back home again. Back home again for just after 6, probably there or thereabouts.
All right. All the best. Good night, everyone. Night. It's a wrap. Bye-bye.